Monday morning. Currently the sun's out, so you wouldn't say the ground was dry. Adjusting a cradle for a monohull. Now we have a Pukeko busy doing its rounds. These large gas cylinders need to be retested. One's hooked up to the system, to the stove, the other one to the barbecue. Well, that's the emptiest one, not surprising, it's the one that was hooked up to the stove. So I hooked that one up to keep us in gas while the first one gets tested and refilled. Well, the next thing I need to make a new mount for the bait board as these die-cast lower mounts keep breaking, which makes it a bit dangerous if you're leaning on it.
The United Nations has condemned the Security Council's failure to extend a crucial border crossing from Turkey into Syria, which has been a lifeline for aid into opposition-held areas. The BBC's Neda Tawfiq reports from New York.
The UN Secretary General expressed disappointment that the Security Council
believe anything that comes out of Benjamin Netanyahu or the coalition government.
Cradle ready to go in. I'll swap these two over and get the other one tested and refilled. Actually feeling the weight of this one, I think there's enough in there to run the barbecue for quite some time. Might be alright till next year. Saves wasting gas. Right, that should do. Right, starboard engine compartment is under these stairs. I'll use the vacuum oil pump to get the oil out of the engine, which is a D1-30 Volvo. So we'll pull it up through the dipstick, which is the yellow knob there. So pump the handle and up she comes, slowly because it's cold and the tube's small, but there's no rush, it will empty it. I can leave it to quietly do its thing. Well, let's take the Kiwi Props off, then the anodes. The Kiwi Prop lock nuts are 4mm, the anodes cap screws are 5mm, and the nut on the end of the Kiwi Props is a 1/2 inch square drive. There's the port one disassembled. The anodes are in 2 halves, set screws, hex head, as I said, 5mm, holding the two together onto the sail drive. Well, here's the new ones. Won't put them on till anti-foul, but they come with new socket headed cat bolts. And there's the part number. Well, it's Friday afternoon, Matariki, which is a new public holiday introduced last year, but I've had to go to work this morning. This is the driest we've seen it for weeks, so I'll see if I can blow this area clear of debris before it rains again, which looking south looks like it will be in about 5 minutes. Well, I seem to have missed the worst of the rain, so it's about as dry as I said it has been in ages. So it's looking a fair bit better. And we can back the truck back over here and Stuart can park over here again. It's not actually raining at the moment, we're still getting light showers through. Still waiting for it to be dry enough to fill in the hole over the top of the septic tank. You can just see how much rain we've had. Might as well carry on and do the rest of the drive. As Stuart tried to give Sasha her medicine, as she appears to have a bit of arthritis in her old age.
No, cut out the other side.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Even before she was spitting it out.
Does she take it?
No.
No, so she'll sniff at it, eat it, and then immediately spit it out.
Oh, let's stick it in again. I want it on picture.
You open your mouth.
See, you just spat it out again. Oh, it's still been raining, but have to make a start sometime. Got the supervisor. Well, difficult because it was all claggy and stuck, but I suppose that's done. It'll settle, we'll have to regrass it. That can wait. Oh, it's been so bloody wet this year. Can't keep ahead of the moss. Well, that looks better. The sun's currently out. Cold sou'wester and another rain squall on the horizon. It looks like the cat will be going back in. The launch has gone. I must remember to bring the wee fan heater, but we'll use the diesel one instead. Well, there's the diesel heater, which is going, and it looks like we have drained the oil out. Oh, I just pushed it down, but tiny little bit. It's pulling bubbles now. Oh, there's the oil. Should be 3.1 litres plus the capacity of the oil filter. And we're doing the same thing to get the oil out of the port engine. Okay, 3.1 ready to go back in. Well, the oil filter is down here. Not easy to actually get to. So we've got a oil soaking pad underneath it. And we have my favourite oil filter loosener. Right, that has loosened it. I've got about a 50% success rate getting it out without dropping it. Well, success, didn't drop it, didn't spill much. Caught the bits we did spill. Just checking we haven't left no ring behind. And yes, we did, there it is. Never seal if you don't remove it. New oil filter. lubricate its seal with a wee bit of oil and then install it. Right, so it's on hand tight down there. Right, I'll fill her up with 3.1 litres of oil. I just checked it needs to be 3.5 litres of oil, but we'll pop the slot in first and then climb out and get some more. I don't know if you can see it, but it's halfway between the two marks. Okay, cap on. Well, that bit's done. Right, now for the water pump impeller, which is fairly inaccessible and is down there. Right, so that's a 7mm socket. Well, I think we can say it's time it was replaced. So 2 fins broken, 1 found, 1 cracked. It's always working well. Oh, here's the cover plate. Now we've got no choice but to find the broken one. So the hose starts down there, goes up, comes up, goes around and goes into the heat exchanger here. So I imagine we'll find it in here. Now, can I get the hose off? Right, now can we find the broken bit? Right, 5mm Allen key, but with all the paint you've got to force it in. Right, well it's not there, although it does need a clean. But even more implements of destruction to get the hose off. Right, it's off. And there's the vane. Oh, there's all the missing pieces. Took ages. Right, cleaned all them. A 4mm Allen key is an excellent fit. So it sits on an O-ring, so we'll grease that with some silicone grease and put the cap back on. Oh, here's the cap. It's plastic. Okay, that's back on. Let's put the hose on and then it's getting late. Right, hose is back on. Haven't put the impeller in yet, that can wait until tomorrow. Right, we'll close that up. Quite warm in there with the heater going against my bottom. Well, this is the port side. Oil's out. We'll hopefully get onto that tomorrow. Well, we're going to go out for dinner. So if I leave in 10 minutes, I'll be exactly on time. It's Sunday, calm, overcast, not raining. Well, the team's got me some more baking soda, so we'll sprinkle that on the worst bits of the boss. Well, it didn't cover that much ground. But it should be helpful. Well, we're back into the starboard engine bay again. Well, I've cleaned all the old gasket material off. I've used some of the glycerin lubricant to stick the paper gasket on. And wonders will never cease. I've got all the screws started without dropping them, so it's just a case of tightening them up. Well, that's done, apart from changing the diesel fuel filter here, which we'll do another day. Here are the well oversized primary filters. I didn't have the drainage tube pushed all the way down on this side, so it might take a bit longer. Might do that diesel filter after all. Right, well, new filters installed. Very little room to get to it. Now we need to bleed the system. So here's the bleed screw here. Right, so it's 10mm, but of course with all the thick paint you have to basically hammer it on. I have a diesel priming pump here and a backup hand bulb squeezer here. Right, so there's diesel coming out and pumping on here to make sure it's got resistance and full of diesel. I've also bled the primary filter. The one on the right is in use, so I flushed it out. The one on the left is not in use, it's currently spare, and the gauge here shows if it starts developing a vacuum between the filter and the engine, which will tell me if it's blocked. Right, new engine oil is ready. I was trying to figure out why I had two fuel filters and no oil filter, because of course I put an oil filter in as the fuel filter. Bugger. More diesel into the engine bay. Well, this time at least it was able to be undone by hand this time. Well, at least the gas is going, so I'll have afternoon tea, and then that port engine should be free of oil. I'm in the port engine bay now, oil's all out, so it's going to be oil filter change first, which is the black thing down there. Well, practice makes perfect. Oil filter changed, engine oil replaced, halfway between the two marks on the dipstick. Very hard to get to the fuel filter. Just that white thing there. It might be easier actually to take the fitting off the block. I think the next thing though will be the impeller. This one fortunately has slightly easier access with less stuff in the way. Same problem. Let's go fishing. Right, hose is off. No sign of the missing bit so far. So into the heat exchanger input, which is here. Oh, it's a bit cleaner on this side. I found one of the vanes. Oh, I found the other vane that had been flicked out when I took the impeller out. So, new impeller's in, covers on. However, I managed to knock two of the small screws down here somewhere. And unfortunately, I found them under that hose, larger hose down there. And there they are. Well, engine oil changed, oil filter changed, new impeller on the water pump, bits of old impeller taken out, inlet into heat exchanger cleaned. That'll do, it's getting late. I'm being a tiger for punishment, so I've undone the bolts holding this so I can get to the filter a bit better. New filter on, bolt it back up,